friend of the dragon. In the heart of the Whispering Peaks lay the Valley of Sunstone, a place once bathed in perpetual summer, now choked by an unnatural, unending winter. For 5 long years, a relentless blizzard had buried the vibrant fields and silenced the singing rivers. The people, once joyous and prosperous, were now huddled and starving, their hope as frozen as the land around them. Among them was Ilara, a young mage whose memories of a sun-warmed valley felt like a fading dream. While the elders clung to old rituals, praying to silent gods, Ilara believed the answer lay not in faith, but in forbidden knowledge. Her quest led her to the Frostfang Spire, a treacherous peak said to be the lair of the last great dragons. The legends painted them as malevolent beasts, hoarders of power and bringers of ruin. It was a common belief that a dragon's curse was responsible for their suffering. Armed with her grimoire and a spirit that refused to be chilled, Ilara began her ascent. The climb was brutal, a battle against razor-sharp winds and icy crags that tore at her cloak and skin. But the thought of the children in the valley, who had never seen a flower bloom, pushed her onward. Deep within the spire, she found not a hoard of gold, but a cavern of shimmering ice. At its center lay a colossal dragon, its scales the color of a winter twilight, its breath coming in shallow, frosty plumies. This was no fearsome monster. This was a creature in pain. Its heart, a massive, glowing crystal, was cracked and pulsing with a sickly, pale light. Chained to the cavern walls were its young, their small bodies shivering, their whimpers lost in the howling wind. A spectral image of an ancient sorcerer flickered near the great dragon, his voice a cold whisper echoing through the ages. The vision revealed the truth. The sorcerer, in a desperate bid for immortality centuries ago, had tried to steal the dragon's heart, the very core of its life force and magic. The dragon, whose name was Valeris, had fought back, but the spell had shattered its heart. To save himself and his children, Valeris had drawn upon all the warmth and life from the surrounding lands, pulling it inward to mend the wound and keep his family alive. The endless winter was not a curse, but a consequence, a desperate act of survival. Sunstone Valley was the price for the dragon's life. Ilara was faced with an impossible choice. She could shatter the dragon's heart completely, ending its life and instantly returning summer to the valley. Her people would be saved, but she would be a murderer, extinguishing the last of a magnificent race. Or she could try to heal the dragon, a complex and dangerous ritual that could drain her of her own life force, with no guarantee of success. If she failed, both the dragons and the valley would be doomed. Her heart ached for her people, but looking at the sleeping dragon and its vulnerable young, she saw not a monster, but a father protecting his family. She made her decision, laying her hands on the cracked, crystalline heart. Ilara closed her eyes and began to channel her own magic, her own life essence, into the ancient beast. She poured her memories of the sun, the scent of summer blossoms, and the warmth of a community's laughter into the cold, fractured core. Light erupted from her hands, a torrent of gold against the icy blue. The dragon's eyes fluttered open, not with fury, but with a profound, ancient sadness and understanding. The spectral sorcerer shrieked as the pure magic unraveled his centuries-old curse, and he dissolved into dust. As the dragon's heart began to mend, a wave of warmth spread from the spire. Ilara felt her energy drain, her body growing weak, but she held on, focusing all she was into the healing. Valerias, now Kontos, joined his own magic with hers. It was no longer a one-sided sacrifice, but a partnership. Together, they pushed back the cold. The ice in the cavern began to melt, and the chains holding the young dragons turned to rust and fell away. When Elara awoke, she was lying on soft moss at the entrance of the spire. The sun, a real and brilliant sun, was warming her face. Below, Sunstone Valley was stirring. Snow was melting, revealing patches of green. The river was flowing again. The people of the valley looked up at the spire, not with fear, but with awe. As 5 dragons, 1 large and 4 small, circled the peak once before, soaring into the newly blue sky, Elara returned not as just a mage, but as a legend. She had learned that true power wasn't about control or sacrifice, but about empathy and connection. She had faced a terrible choice and forged a new path, one of compromise and healing. The valley was saved, the dragons were free, and the world was reminded that sometimes the greatest magic of all is the courage to understand rather than condemn. Thank you for watching this story unfold. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and follow for more tales from realms of fantasy. See you next time.